Hey there, California 27. It's Mike Garcia. Hope you are having a great week. I'm up in the Capitol right now in D.C., about ready to head home to honor our fallen heroes during Memorial Day weekend. By the way, I'll be speaking at Eternal Valley on Monday. We'll put a post out with specifics, but we've got two F-15s this year doing a low altitude flyby for us at Eternal Valley Memorial Day event. It's going to be fantastic, an opportunity to pay homage to our fallen heroes, folks who've literally given their lives in support of our beautiful country. So please remember why we celebrate Memorial Day. That is the why. There's really nothing more important than that when it comes to our uniformed personnel. Wanted to just touch base on a few things. This week we passed H.R. 467, which is called the Halt Fentanyl Act. And what this does is it puts fentanyl and fentanyl analogs as a permanently Schedule I drug, meaning this is now putting fentanyl on par with heroin, and it allows us to prosecute the dealers and prosecute the traffickers with more severe penalties. It's a massive deterrent. As you know, roughly 100,000 folks a year are dying of fentanyl poisonings. In many cases, the folks don't even know they're taking fentanyl. They think they're taking an Adderall, Vicodin, something else, and it's made with fentanyl, and a very small amount of that can actually kill you. So this Schedule I changes the thresholds on the amounts, so we can actually go after folks even when they're carrying a few pills, trafficking a few pills, and makes it easier to go after the bad guys. So we're working this. This is the number one killer right now out there, and too many stories, especially even in our district. Nearly 100 folks in the last year have died of fentanyl poisoning. So it's a massive problem. That passed the House. Well, hopefully it'll pass the Senate, and hopefully the President signs it into law in short order. That's a big victory for us. And I gave a floor speech on that. If you visit our social media, you'll see the floor speech I gave in support of the Halt Fentanyl Act. This week we also had a pretty cool Casework Victory. As you know, we take care of literally hundreds of folks a year with Casework, IRS, Social Security, VA. So if you need help, please reach out. A lot of folks reaching out about passport issues right now. We actually had a case where a former law enforcement officer was getting on a plane to go to a family wedding, and they stopped him because his passport was damaged. We got it resolved in a matter of hours. He was able to get on the plane and get to the church on time, so that's a big deal. A lot of talk this week, obviously, as we head into June 1st about debt ceiling. I'm confident that the House leadership, as well as the President, will get to a deal. We will not default on our debt, as some are fearing. It's very important that we pass a debt ceiling. As you know, we have passed a debt ceiling package out of the House. We're just asking for some behavioral pattern changes so we're not spending like drunken sailors. And I could say that because I was a former sailor, but our spending is out of control over the last 3 years. And all we're asking for is that Congress curtail that spending so that we're not driving the nation into insolvency and bankruptcy in the near term. So we will get to a resolution. I know a lot of folks are worried about that, but I'm confident in our leadership in the House and the President's willingness to negotiate this, and we'll see what that package looks like. I may be flying back to D.C. next week to vote on the agreement, but fingers crossed on that. Lastly, this narrative about the VA, about House Republicans cutting VA benefits is absolutely not the case. We are asking for cuts at the top line across all federal agencies to get back to FY22 benefits, FY22 spending levels. But when you look at VA benefits, and the proof is in the appropriation bills that I sit on the Appropriations Committee, the bills that we are marking up for the Veterans Affairs Administration is actually $18 billion higher, or roughly 11% higher than last year's bill. So we are absolutely not cutting VA benefits. We're not cutting funding for the VA. The VA needs to do a lot better. The fact that fewer than half of veterans use the VA is a testimony that it's too painful, it's too constipated, and they need to do better. Frankly, the quality of care isn't where it needs to be either. But we are not cutting their funding. So please disregard those. If you have any questions, call our office. We're happy to help. We've been probably the strongest advocate nationwide for our veterans inside of our district and frankly outside of our district. And as you guys know, taking care of our vets, taking care of our law enforcement officers is one of my biggest priorities. So with that, we encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter. Visit the website mikegarcia.house.gov. I'll be in the district this weekend and for Memorial Day, hopefully also next week, and maybe flying out here to DC to vote on the debt ceiling negotiation package. But with that, God bless. Happy Memorial Day.